Welcome back to the motherfucking Cruise Dynasty podcast. We are back at it again. Man, the draft is over. Just went down. Crapman got a lot to say. OC Swizzy got a lot to say. I got a lot to bitch about. But with that said, Craftman, what's going on, big dog?
Oh, nothing much, man. It was a crazy ass draft, though. A lot of players went a lot higher than I expected, especially at receiver. And then a lot of players that I liked didn't even go in the first and second round. So, got to change the expectations on some things.
Right. It's almost as if the NFL doesn't give a fuck about your fantasy shit. I'm telling you, crap. I've been deep on Twitter, man, and these people on Twitter, idiots, stupid this, stupid that. I'm like, yeah, man, you don't even know nothing. You're just sitting on your computer at the house, like it ain't. I mean, anyways, see Swizzy, what's going on, big dog?
Not much. I'm definitely gonna be bitching tonight. I'll tell you that. I'm definitely gonna be bitching. We're gonna be bitching about your team too. I've definitely got a few things to say about that.
I got things to say about my own fan base. I'm always bitching about them. I sure got stuff to say about them tonight. But
Hey,
go ahead, Crab.
You said that you wanted them to build up their QB room. They did.
Hey, the way that the Falcons did stuff is the way that I'm always saying teams should do stuff. I'm always saying, but we'll go into it a little bit later because Akil, he texted and made a point, and I do agree with what he was saying. We'll get into that a little bit later. But if y'all want to go from the top of the draft, we'll start it off from the top.
Still,
really ain't too much to say, but Caleb Williams, 101, everybody knew it. Chicago Bears, so now Kraft fans got to deal with that shit for the next 10 to 15. But hey, that division looking sharp.
They stacked, man. They are stacked. They've
been stacked before.
Yeah, that's true. They've been stacked before, but they loading them up with weapons. So we'll talk about a doomsday there soon. Yeah, Caleb Williams, 101. Really, I don't really have too much to say. He's obviously going number one in my rookie drafts and all that stuff. I've been hearing that it ain't happening like that. I've been hearing Marv going ahead of him, but Caleb Williams, Crabman, you got anything to say about his fingernail polish wearing ass?
Pink iPhone having ass. With a pink case. Oh, here we go. We got the soundboard in the building tonight.
Oh, man, they done messed up. Let me find that thing, that little tab right there. But go ahead, Crab.
No, I mean, them getting the doomsday also, I know he was mocked to go there a lot. And that Peter Schrager, I saw he hit 28 out of 32 picks in the first round in his last mock. But you can't get no better for Caleb Williams right now. You can't ask for no better than a 101 coming into.
Right. Situation, it's like Chris said, stacked. They brought in Keenan Allen, which Keenan Allen had a good year last year. He either, what happened? He faded at the end or he got hurt at the end of the year. Something happened at the end of the season. Fantasy playoffs, I think. So he kind of
fell off a bit. He was winning your weeks, and then he fell off a little bit because I remember Jordan trading for him, and Keenan Allen didn't perform too well, and that's how you knocked his ass up out the play.
Yeah. So that, it happens, but, Keenan Allen. So, the Bears, I like what the Bears are doing. Honestly, I always talk about organizations buttoned up, and the Bears really have not been buttoned up my whole life, but in the last couple years, they've made some good decisions where you're like, dang, that was some good decisions right there, where you're like, you got to give the Bears a little bit of credit. So,
yeah. Is it the Bears? Is it the Bears making good decisions, or is it the Panthers just making the worst decision of their franchise last season?
It's definitely the Panthers. It's definitely the Panthers making the worst decision. I saw that the trade was finally completed for something, and I saw everything we gave up just to get Bryce Young, and I threw up everywhere, dude. I was like, this is some bullshit. This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, Yeah, when you look at it like that, the Panthers did make a bad little move, but I will say this: I do count Bryce Young as like one of the winners of the offseason. Like they definitely gave this dude. They went and drafted some guys, whether you like Leggett or not. They at least went and drafted a guy, and they brought in Deontay Johnson, and I like Deontay Johnson. Went and got him a running back, signed a couple of guards. Man, give me Bryce Young, Akil. Let me get his ass. I'll take that burden on for everybody. Um, but fuck it, Marvin Harrison, Cardinals.
Yeah.
Couldn't get no better than that. We were all kind of expecting it, but
Yeah.
I was thinking about where I want to put Marvin in the dynasty ranking, and crap, man, I'm gonna be real. I might have him like 5 or something like that.
Going with the chalk, ain't you? You gonna rank him before he plays a snap.
Hey, I don't do it much, but I did it with Bijan last year, and I'm gonna do it with Marv this year. So
He's gonna be a beast, man. There's nothing bad I can even say about Marvin Harrison. He's just a stud anyway, and he went to the perfect spot. People were talking about them maybe trading back. I was like, for what? They got like a generational receiver right here that they could take. That'd be dumb not to pick, and they still got to see what Kyler's got all the way.
Chris, you want to say anything about Marv? There's really not much to say about the draft. Really did go chalk at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I think he ended up in a good spot. Like I said, like I saw a bunch of stuff talking about them trading back, and I was just like, I just think they'd be fucking retarded to trade back. Like when you got a generational talent like Marvin Harrison sitting right there, you can just grab him up and just go ahead and run with it.
And then let's see what else took place. Well, really, I know skipped over old Jaden Daniels because I'm looking at rookie mock draft stuff. But Jaden Daniels, this one's a little interesting. It wasn't guaranteed that he was going to. I kind of figured he was going to go to. I like it for Jaden Daniels. He's got weapons. Like it ain't like the cover it's not bare, but he's going to Washington. And we all know what that means. Like, we talk about shit not being buttoned up. But with that said, I like Jada Daniels. I like the landing spot. In one quarterback leagues, I've heard people would take Jada Daniels over Caleb Williams, and I kind of agree with that. That's kind of like the Anthony Richardson thing last year, But yeah, Jaden Daniels. Crap, man, what you want to say about that?
I mean, I think it was a good spot. Better than the Patriots. Drake May has kind of fell down a little bit, even though I like him the most as an NFL quarterback. But it's going to be hard to outcompete what Caleb Williams got with the Bears, and then Jaden going there. He's got good receivers. They drafted a couple too, I know. So they're building some depth in that receiver room if Jahan Dotson don't pan out. So I mean, they're pretty much set right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Cliff Kingsbury calling plays, though, so that might be a problem.
I think fantasy-wise, it'll probably be all right, I mean, it wasn't like Kyler and Hollywood and all them were trash fantasy-wise, I mean, I don't care about what these guys do in real football. I don't give a fuck about the Redskins, so fantasy-wise, I think it's going to be all right. Yeah, Chris, you got any input on these guys?
I mean, I think that it's a better landing spot, like we said, other than the Patriots. Well, when we start talking about the Drake May picks, whenever I get on that, but I feel like that this was the best place for him to end up. You got Terry McLaurin, you got Jahan Dotson. I'm actually a bit more hopeful about Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin now than bringing in Jaden Daniels and maybe getting this turned around.
Well, shoot, Chris, go ahead and tee off on Drake May. What you think about it? Going to the Pats.
I honestly think that any quarterback that the Patriots would have drafted would have been a mute fucking point, to be honest with you. Like this team is so fucked. It's unreal. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, when I sent my rankings to you, and I sent my rankings to you, like I told you, I put Drake May at the 112, and I was like, this is a super flex. I would not draft Drake May if I had to. Because you're going to be looking at like a 2 to 3 year fucking turnaround just to get some kind of, just to get something out of it. And yeah, Dynasty is the long game and stuff like that. But I mean, it just takes too long, man. Too long. I'd rather have Michael Penix that's going to sit till he's 27 and instead of take Drake May right there. I really would.
I really like that last statement, Chris. That was that really was. Hold on, Chris. That last one deserves this. A little golf clap. I'd rather have picks too. But yeah, listen. Here's what I agree. I don't agree with Chris. Well, let's put it like this.
That man going back and forth.
Yeah.
Well,
Drake May's
Drake May. You let me know how it works out for you, dog.
yeah. I'll put it like this: Drake May to the Patriots, like. How do I say it? Like, if Bill was still there, I would just be like, what Chris is saying. Like, but things are going to change. I know this guy's a Bill Belichick guy, and hopefully it'll change. Eventually, hopefully this world goes on for a lot of years. Like, at some point, like, the Patriots are going to have to turn it around at some point. It could be this guy right here. You get a high draft pick. Here's what I want to say about Drake May. In Superflex rookie drafts, where we're getting quarterbacks, like, dude, you could never get quarterbacks this late. So I'm definitely willing to buy Drake May at the 106, 107, something like that. Chris talking about the 112. I mean, if he came to me at the 112, that's all day. I wouldn't even hesitate. I would just, I'd go hit
Can't
that.
take him at the 106 or the 107. I can't do it.
So
would you take him over McCarthy?
No, I'm taking McCarthy over him. McCarthy's in an immediately better situation. He's got one of the best wide receivers in the league, a promising second-year player in Jordan Addison, and he's got one of the best tight ends in the NFL right now.
There's no doubt the situation.
Who does Drake May got?
My thing is, I just think J.J. McCarthy's ass. That's my thing. But
I mean, I don't think that J.J. McCarthy's good, but at the end of the day, the situation is definitely going to matter, and J.J. McCarthy is in a better situation. Like, it's not even close.
McCarthy,
not even close.
He's definitely a big winner. He definitely moved up my rankings some. So, Kraft, McCarthy, Drake May, just say it all.
I think in the rookie draft we just did, Drake May went at like the 106 and McCarthy went at the 110. He was the last pick in the first round. And I thought that was a steal getting J.J. McCarthy right there. So, I mean, I'm with Chris a little bit on that too. I like Drake May more than McCarthy, but Jalen Polk, Devontae Parker, Demario Douglas, like the list goes on. It's going to be bad. It's going to be very bad for that offense next year, even if Drake May is a good quarterback, because it's just going to be tough to move the ball with the skill players they got.
Yeah. I guess like one argument I would say is like these top quarterbacks, like other than like, well, it's crazy. These quarterbacks were going to some decent situations this year, but most years like they're always going to bad situations. So it's like you want to look at the talent and look how good they are. Most years I'd be right on board with Chris. I'd be like, man, Bill Belichick, like what's he about to do with Drake May? Like we already seen. I don't care what anybody says. Bill Belichick is overrated as a mug. So. I don't know, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So it's tough. I think I would love to take Drake May at the 6. I ain't going to be sitting there grabbing him at the 104 or anything like that. I know some people would do it, but that's not my style. And I'm all in for quarterbacks. Got to take them quarterbacks in the Superflex, but I'm going to take him at the right cost. And to me, it's like the right cost is like 106, 107. Chris's right cost is like round 2.
10, I would say 109 because I would start taking McCarthy at 6. It's probably about where I would take McCarthy at 6, maybe even 5. Like if I'm in like in Dudu, I'm in a situation where if I get a pick, I'm one of them picks is gonna have to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams is gonna be off the board. I'm not taking fucking. If I want to wait for Michael Penix to fucking, go through puberty, I might take him, I don't know. But if I want to wait on Bo Nix to see what the fuck that's going to turn into, like, no, that's not happening. Drake May, terrible situation. I'll just go ahead and take me J.J. McCarthy, whose only competition right now is going to be Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold, we don't know how that's going to go. I will say Sam Darnold's never had what he's got now in Minnesota. He's never had that kind of player. those kind of players, but still got to see. You don't take a quarterback that early without the intent of seeing what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe the Vikings are just doing what the Falcons did, and they're like, Sam Darnold is our guy for the next 3 years. We're just drafting JJ to come in 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
they could. They could.
I doubt it.
You know where I stand. Like, when these quarterbacks, if you can get reps after reps after reps, I mean, I feel like you just start mastering the position a little bit. Maybe Sam Darnold's seen a lot. Obviously, it doesn't happen a lot. Like, you know what situation I always think of? I always think of Rich Gannon. Like, that dude was getting old and with the Raiders and stuff, and then they were going to Super Bowls and stuff. Like, that shit can definitely happen. And I think it could happen more if these teams would give these guys chances and stuff like that, but the landscape just doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
Heck, these guys, if you look bad year one, you could be going up out of there. So, it's just, you know. Go ahead, Kraft.
I mean, where would Drake May even sit in y'all's rankings? Like, we hadn't done them yet, but like Bryce Young or Drake May?
Bryce Young.
Nah, it's Drake May for me.
So it's on down, like in the
where you got Daniel Jones
somewhere.
at? Where you got Daniel Jones at? That's where I'll drop Drake May. Right there.
Oh man.
No,
I'm not a believer, man. I'll be honest, I don't even think Drake May's that good. Like,
right. Yeah.
I've seen some questionable shit. I don't think that he's that good. I could be eating my words, or people could be talking about, damn, Swizzy was on fucking. I should have listened to this motherfucker.
That's what everybody gonna be saying about me when we start teeing off on Penix when we get 3 or 4 years down the road, when they like, damn, that motherfucker crew Matt Hamm, that motherfucker was dead spot on.
I don't think they're gonna 3 years.
We'll see when we get to that pick. We'll talk about it, because my hate's not with Penix at all. It's not with Penix at all. I think that he, we'll get to that when we get there, because that's gonna be his whole segment right there talking about that.
Yeah. Right, well, shoot. We've been talking about quarterback. I know we talked about Mar, but real quick, Bo Nix. I didn't really like Bo Nix too much, but it sounds like I've seen stuff where Sean Payton pretty much acted like he liked Bo Nix. I mean, they took him at 12, and
I read something that was the plan all along. The plan was to act like he was going to take another player to fuck with the Vikings. I read something the other day, and I was just thinking in my head, like, I mean, we gonna make some fucking coaches and stuff. Like, I'm gonna be painting these dudes out to be idiots today. I ain't even gonna lie. I think that's the stupidest fucking decision I've ever. Like, you really saw this dude and was like, this is our franchise quarterback, and you just traded for Zach Wilson. What's their QB room? Zach Wilson, is it Stidham and fucking Bo Nix? Good God, you got 3 of the same player sitting right there. Like, holy shit.
That shit is wild. That Stidham might be the best quarterback in that room. I mean, listen, man. Bo Nix we'll put it like this. His years at Auburn, they were asking him to throw the ball deep and stuff like that. He was ass. He was in the SEC. He got to Oregon. His completion percentage is like 77 or something crazy. He's dinking and dunking it everywhere. Which I don't hate on those kind of quarterbacks. Sometimes that's just a quarterback's game. Like, that's how Alex Smith was. He was kind of like the little game manager, dinking and dunking. Bo Nix, that's going to be their style. But to me, it's like Cortland Sutton. He's going to be like
Troy Franklin.
Troy Franklin dropped so much, but it's like their weapons are so bad. It's like, I think I want Troy Franklin. Like, I don't want Marvin Mims. I don't think I got Marvin Mims on the team, and I think he's an okay player, but Marvin Mims is going to go deep and burn your ass and stuff. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be doing that shit. So, and listen, we'll go back real quick. JJ McCarthy. I think it kind of hurts Justin Jefferson just a tad. I think it's kind of good for Jordan Addison. Yeah, I think that'll be all right for Jordan Addison. He's going to be running intermediate routes and some shorter routes, and he's not the one making the big play. So I think Justin Jefferson might be hurt by that just a tad bit. But that's where I stand with Bo Nix. I was never really a Bo Nix fan. But then again, he's got a lot of reps in college, so We'll just have to
But
see.
then again, I mean, he's in the NFL, and I'm doing a fucking podcast about fantasy football. So I
Yeah.
mean, you know, you can't hate too much. So,
Not
but
not even talking about the real stuff. We're talking about the fake shit. Crap, man. Go ahead, throw your opinion in, man.
I don't really have an opinion of Bo Nix. Like I don't like him. I guess that would be my opinion. I just don't like him, and I don't. But Sean Payton's a good coach, and he's had good quarterbacks, and he can make something happen with them. But it's just kind of like just a boring pick to me when they did it. I watched the war room they were in. They all looked depressed when they did it. The same way I did when they did it. I was like, man,
do like a little subway. Every time I see these people make a pick, have you ever noticed like everybody in the room just stands up and they're like dapping each other up, man? They're getting hype and stuff. And I'm like, I'd be the one guy in there and be like, yo, what the fuck are we doing, bro? Like, what the fuck? Like, y'all think this was good? Like, what? Y'all are stupid. I would walk out. I'd be like, fuck y'all, man. This is stupid. Y'all ain't trying to play football, bro. Like, fuck.
Man. I know, man. I mean, I'm with you. I don't really even know what to think about the Bo Nix situation. The only thing positive he's got Sean Payton, and we'll just see what that's even going to look like. Because I mean, Sean Payton had Drew Brees. Like, I mean, I feel like I might could go out there and make Drew Brees go out there and look good with Drew Brees as my quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not hating on Sean Payton, but I'm just saying he did have an all-time great quarterback he was dealing with. So
yeah,
let's see what you can do with old Bo Nix.
he didn't turn it around with Russell Wilson. So
he sure did. All right, man. Well, listen, this is the moment of probably a lot of people have been waiting for. Whichever one y'all want to go first. Michael Penix to my Atlanta Falcons. Number 8. I love me some Penix, but I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the floor real quick. Whichever one of y'all want to go first.
shoot, I'll go ahead. Like we said a little bit earlier, no hate on Michael Penix as a player. I think we all like Michael Penix. Probably above. I liked him better than J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, and I mean he was up there with like Drake May. Yeah, he was up there with the top guys to me. But the Falcons need to understand that when the Packers did this, we drafted Jordan Love in the last pick of the first round, so we could get that 5th-year option. But we were a playoff team. We were winning like 13 games a year when we did it. Falcons are trying to get in the playoffs, and they're using their first pick on somebody who's not going to help them get there. So that's my only like issue with it is I know you got to get your quarterback room right, but I understand that. I think they did try to trade back in the draft, but nobody wanted to. So that would have made sense if they could have got that done, but I just don't. They got an easy division to go out and win and get to the playoffs. They could have used somebody right there, especially a pass rusher. I mean, that's what they need the most.
Go ahead, see Swizzy.
I just think that this is the dumbest goddamn decision from an organization that I've seen in a long time. I do like Penix, and I honestly, if I was the Pats, I probably would have took Michael Penix over Drake May. I do like the kid. The kid's good. And I hope that we get to see him play in Atlanta earlier than what he does. But here's what you do. You just gave out this big, massive-ass contract to Kirk Cousins, who is getting older, and I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to bring in another quarterback of the future, like everybody's been like, oh, they're trying to do what the Packers did. But like Craftman just said, they was winning 13 games a season. They were set. They knew that they could have this quarterback come in and learn underneath Aaron Rodgers. The only thing this kid's going to learn under Kirk Cousins is that he can make $400 million off one playoff win. That's the only thing that this kid's going to learn. And, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if your roof's leaking, you don't go and buy a new car. Like, what? I mean, you drafted nothing at the 8th pick to help you win this year. You drafted nothing. You looked into what 2027 would be like. I think that's it. 2027, 2028 is you're looking at around when that pick may have value, unless Kirk gets hurt, of course. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not with that. You needed an edge rusher, and I agree with what David said. There wasn't really like an elite level edge rusher in this draft, I don't think. But still, I think you could have traded back. The Raiders desperately needed the quarterback. Man, I feel like they could have worked something out with them. Hell, Carolina's been trading like they were trading every goddamn pick. It felt like, it was crazy. People wanted this kid, and I don't know. I don't agree with the decision. I don't hate Michael Penix at all. I think the kid's good. I just don't think, as an organization, that this was the right move for them to do.
It was funny you talk about the Panthers. They made a trade to move up one pick to get Xavier Legette, like somebody was about to snag that man.
I was like, are we going to get A.D. Mitchell or somebody? And then it said Xavier Legette, and I was like, didn't this kid not play for like this many years? Because he played South Carolina. And I was like, hold on, like, didn't it take this dude like 6 games to get like 168 yards or something like that? Like, I mean, it was some crazy stat. And I never thought that kid would go in the first round. Like,
that's the Panthers' problem, man. Their scouting team's just lazy as hell. They can't even make it.
I'll tell you, the Panthers' problem is that the GM and the coaches aren't making the picks. David Tepper is the one making the picks. That's the problem with the Panthers. That is the problem.
DJ Stroud plays in Ohio. We can't drive that far, man. Let's just go down to Alabama and watch.
We got videos out there of them telling CJ Stroud, "Oh, this is how it's going to be when you're in Charlotte. This is how it's going to be when you're down here in Charlotte." And then we draft Bryce Young. It's like, oh my god, dude! Like,
genius.
We just have to see. Well, we're talking about all Penix and all them now. We're not talking about the Panthers.
All right. So when I first heard the pick, I said I fucking love it. I was like, hell yeah. I slept on it though. I'm gonna go from love to I really like it. Because here's the deal. The truth is our quarterback room was Desmond Ridder and Heineke last year. We was 7-10. If we just have an average quarterback last year, we're going to the playoffs. We're winning that division. That division is not tough. So basically, what I'm saying is, from a real football standpoint, it's my opinion from a real football standpoint, I fucking love it. And I don't care about how old Michael Penix is, 23. If he starts playing football, he could be a starter and start playing football, be a starter at 30 and still start in the NFL for 7 or 8 years. These quarterbacks are playing for a long time. I don't care about what the age of the quarterback or the tight end is, to be honest with you. So that's my opinion from the real football standpoint. Fantasy, real quick, in the Superflex drafts, I think I would still take J.J. McCarthy over Penix. But there is no way I'm letting Penix slide out of the first round. That is absurd. He is definitely going to come when he comes to me at the 111 and doo-doo, bam, bank on it. I'm snagging him because there's no way you can let the number 8 overall pick go. He's going to be surrounded by weapons. If you look at Kirk Cousins' contract, we could be gone with this guy in 2 years, and some people are saying we could be gone with this guy for 1 year. The cap is always going to go up. You're just going to have to be willing to bite the bullet at some point. So I'm all in from that on the real football stance. Now, to my Falcons fans, and I ain't talking to anybody specific. But I'm not talking about the crew or nothing like that. I feel like they were kind of torn back and forth. So my thing is this. For those of y'all who was wanting to say mad that we drafted Penix and you wanted to get a wide receiver, sit your clown ass down, please. Because
no, I 100% agree with that. There is no way in hell that y'all was going to draft a receiver. And anybody that ever thought that I was getting on social media fucking just like, you're a fucking idiot. Talking about you want a wide receiver or something like that. Man, get the fuck out of here. I feel like quarterback, I disagree with the pick, but I think that's miles better than them fucking up and drafting a receiver right there.
Right. Like, of course, like when I'm sitting there looking at the draft, like, of course I want defense. I say it every year. I want these defensive players. I want some big uglies in there. But Falcons just don't do that shit for some reason. I don't know what it is about the Falcons. We don't go and do that shit. So a quarterback, I'm 100% fine with the quarterback. Now, this is what I really would have done. And Akil said this, and I 100% agree. And he had to check me a little bit. If you're going to use this draft pick, I wouldn't have gone to spend $180 million on Kirk Cousins. I would have tried to go get Russell Wilson and pay that motherfucker $1 million or something. What the Pittsburgh, what the Steelers are doing? What did I say? I said, why are the Falcons not doing stuff like that? Like, go build your room up, pay it on the low. So that's the only thing that I hate on. But with that said, I like Penix. I think in 2 or 3 years he's gonna be fine. I don't care that he sits. And then when you take him in your rookie drafts, when you're deciding between Penix and then one of these wide receivers in the late first, I promise you that value is never going to drop from Penix. When he sits a whole year, that value is not going to drop. That value is going to sit right there the same. So I'm going to sit right there and I'm going to take Penix and I'm going to let it sit and I'm going to let it ride. And then since I believe in the talent, and since we know that the NFL believes in the talent, because like Chris said, the Raiders, the Saints, and the Seahawks all tried to get into the top 10 to try to get not J.J. McCarthy, not Bo Nix. They were trying to get Michael Penix. Falcons had Michael Penix number 2 on the board ahead of Jaden Daniels. And throwing the ball wise, he is better than Jaden Daniels throwing the ball. So I like the pick. And I know Falcons fans out there are going crazy. And I seen old Jason on the footballers tweeted out, Kraft man said this is the worst pick in NFL history. Relax, everybody. It is not the worst pick in NFL history. Everybody needs quarterbacks. I don't care what anybody says. Kirk Cousins is coming off an Achilles injury. For all we know, he's never going to be any good for the Falcons. That was the dumbest decision we ever made. Right there was signing Kirk Cousins. So I honestly, I like it. I think my Falcons fans out there, relax. It's going to be okay. That's all I got to say.
It's not going to be okay, guys. It's not going to be okay.
And please.
Got to get past them Buccaneers, baby. And
please don't let Penix slide.
Carolina Panthers, dog. We're going to beat y'all twice. Chalk it up.
What happens if they don't make the playoffs this year? Are you still going to have the stance?
I don't even know why it matters if we make the playoffs. That doesn't matter to me at all for Penix-wise. We better make the playoffs as a fan. I'm sitting here, but I'm saying for Penix situation, I don't think it fucking matters if we make the playoffs. But if we're trying to win this year, which I know we can win some games this year because we're adding Kirk Cousins and we don't have Ritter, we're never going to be drafting that low again. We're never going to get a talented quarterback like this ever again. Allegedly. Theoretically is what I'm saying. Well, if we go out there and shit a brick out there, then it is what it is. At least we got a quarterback. We can go get us a O lineman or a D lineman. Theoretically, I guess. So, I don't know, man. To me, it's like you can say you hate the pick, and I would understand you hate the pick, but the reaction around the world going on is like way over the top. Like we cannot sit here and act like it was that bad of a pick, or the Falcons and look. I've been a Falcons fan all my life, dude. We're doing shit like spending. We had a top 3 pick. We spent it on a tight end. We just went and got a running back in the top 10 last year. Like, that's the kind of shit that pisses me off. Like, I don't mind going and getting a quarterback. It's all these dumbass, let's go get a wide receiver in the first round for the 10th time and act like that's successful. Like, that. Let's stop doing that kind of dumb shit. Let's switch it up a little bit. So real quick. Terry, what's his name? Terry.
I did break an NFL record though for drafting a skill position player in the first.
So this is what I want to say to you, Terry. This is all I want to say, Terry. Good job, and fuck the haters, and fuck our fans for crying out loud. Fuck all our low IQ fan base fans. Thank you.
You good? Did you get it all out? The only thing that I'm
got
saying
it all out
about like your 110 thing in rookie drafts is that there are going to be quarterbacks that are like this coming next year, the year after. So you're sitting in there in your 25 in 2025 rookie draft, 2026 rookie draft. You can draft a quarterback just like this who's going to get drafted to sit behind somebody most likely. So why make that pick now? Sit there, wait, and let his value depreciate for 2 or 3 years and just have him on your roster to not help you out. And then you still don't know if he's going to be great when he comes in. I mean, Jordan Love got drafted. Where would you have taken Jordan Love in a rookie draft when Rodgers was there? Probably the 3rd round, 2nd round?
Oh, you would have taken him in the 1st round, man. Ain't no way he's a 1st-round quarterback slips out the 1st
I'm sure
round.
you can look on your draft history and you're not super flex, though. So he probably did drop a good bit of that.
Specifically, yeah. But
yeah,
I know what you mean. I don't know, man.
So about the 110, like the 110 to 112, if he's there, I would probably still just take him and right there and just throw him in that taxi and sit him down. Because, I mean, he's in a good situation. Like, he's in a great situation. He's just not going to be seeing the field. If he gets on the field, I mean, I feel like, shit, he can't be as bad as Desmond Ritter. Like,
Hey,
he can't be, right?
And one more thing. If you draft Penix, it's going to test your patience as a dynasty manager. A lot of people don't be patient and stuff like that. Hey, if you can be patient with it, you never know. That's all I'm saying. Am I gonna take Keon Coleman or am I gonna take Penix? I'm gonna take Penix. It's not even debatable. Jonathan Brooks, Penix. Taking Penix.
I
Yes.
actually would take Keon Coleman.
I mean, yeah, I'm not hating on Keon Coleman either. Anyways, I mean, he got a good draft capital landing spot. I'm just saying the quarterback,
Jonathan Brooks?
first round.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Nah, I ain't hating on Jonathan Brooks either, though. But I'm all in on that one. I do like me some Jonathan.
On Jonathan Brooks going to the Panthers.
I'm all in.
You like that?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Hey, if I was willing to like Miles Sanders last year, I'm sure as hell gonna be willing to like Jonathan Brooks.
He's gonna have real fun sitting behind Chubba Hubbard.
So basically, I'm done talking about Penix. That's all I had to say. I've been stirring inside me for a little. My real beef is really just with our Falcons fans that wanted to get a receiver. It's like, oh my god, bro, again, man. It makes me just want to throw up, throw up on the laptop and everything. My mic. If we would, Kraft, man, I swear to God, if we would have drafted a wide receiver, we would not be recording this weekend. I would not be hopping on. So
I was just kind of bummed that we're not going to get to see the kid play this first year. That's what I wanted him to end up with the Raiders or somewhere where he was going to come in and be the guy because I liked Penix. I wanted to see this kid play. And it's just right now, it's just fantasy wise, it's going to pay off down the road. But hell, if I'm picking somebody in the first 6 picks of my fantasy draft, I expect some fucking I expect pay dirt.
I do
agree.
Agree. So we had to. Let's just move on. Y'all want to talk about Neighbors real quick? Move on to Neighbors.
Nah, we ain't got to talk about his bum ass.
Hey, even though Malik Neighbors with Daniel Jones, he's about to go off. I feel like. What do you think, Kraft man?
Yeah, I like his talent. I felt like that was probably where he was going to end up going the closer it got to the draft. So I kind of just came to terms with that's how it's going to be. And, I mean, we don't have to have the debate Marvin Harrison over Neighbors anymore. We already know who that is. But, I mean, Neighbors of Dunze, that's still up for debate. And we all know who I like. My boy, Ladd McConkey, went to the Chargers. But Neighbors, though, go back to him before we get moving on.
Ladd McConkey definitely snuck into that first round.
Mm-hmm. He went second. He went right in the second. Oh, you're talking about the first round?
I'm talking about in the fantasy draft. I think he slid right there in that first round. In a 12-man.
105.
Oh, you took him at the 105? Okay.
Kraft man took him at the 105, man.
I know Matt had a little disagreement with me over the Adunze because now to me Adunze has been pushed back. I'm not taking Adunze super early.
Yeah,
no. He got at the 109. Adunze?
Yeah. Go ahead, Kraft.
Well, what I've got to think about Adunze is if I was a team that I was not competing or anything and I thought I could wait a year, Adunze would have been over Ladd McConkey and, some of them guys for me. I still would have took Neighbors over him, but he would have been right there where the consensus was, wide receiver 3, going at the 105 to 107 range. But I'm trying to win. Got a good receiving core already. I know Ladd McConkey is going to get hella targets and hella receptions this year. Even though the Chargers ain't going to throw much, he's still going to be the guy. We seen what Keenan did last year. So, but Adunze is more talented. His talent's going to win out eventually. And shoot, it might win out this year. If one of them receivers go down, Keenan gets hurt, DJ Moore gets hurt, Rome Adunze's fine. And I like him as a player. He's just almost just as good as Malik Neighbors to me. So I like him.
Yeah, I'm not hating the talent. I'm just saying I can't justify taking this dude at the 105 the 106, that area anymore. To me, it's more like 108, 109 is where I'd be willing to throw in for the Dunze at this point. I would take, Lad McConkey, that's a good landing spot. My favorite one we ain't even talked about. I mean, Xavier Worthy with Kansas City. I mean, oh man, that shot way up for me. I'm taking him probably right after Neighbors at this point.
That's hot.
Kraft. Why? How can you? You're gonna like this one, Kraft. How can you possibly draft Lad McConkey when they got Quentin Johnston there? That was a joke. This soundboard got me hyped, man.
It's nice, ain't it?
But
Who?
listen,
Who's there?
Quentin Johnston, huge.
I don't even know who that is, dog.
Me either. Who is that? Joshua Paul? I mean,
Joshua. Oh man,
Jalen Guyton.
Kraft said Joshua Palmer. Here's my opinion on old Rome Odunze. Listen. I'm not fading Rome Odunze at all. I kind of figured he was going to the Bears. I always thought he was going to Chicago. So, if what Chicago, it seems like what they're doing, theoretically, they're going to be one of the next high flying offenses. I want a piece of that, of a piece of the pie. Rome Odunze, talent wise, is way better than DJ Moore and way better than Keenan Allen, in my opinion. So. I think, to me, there was a big debate if Rome Odunze. Kill said it on the podcast last episode. He said, "Am I crazy or Rome Odunze might be better than Malik Neighbors?" So I'm saying the talent is there. I just think that talent's going to win out. Obviously, at first, it's not going to work out. Keenan Allen's going to take targets. Obviously, he's a target hog and all that. But how long is that really going to last? I think Rome Odunze, a top 10 pick in the draft, he's about to ball out.
I think that it pays off, like you said. I mean, in Dynasty, so you're making that pick and you're looking down the road with it. And we used to have this conversation about Mike Williams, if you remember, like how much longer was Keenan Allen going to be good to go? And I mean, it's gonna take some time to see. It's just like right now, if I'm picking early, I'm looking for something that's going to help me right now. I want something now. That's just the way I play Dynasty. I'm always trying to win every year. You won't ever hear me talking about I'm going through a rebuild. I ain't doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah.
I'll trade my assets and make myself good.
I just really want one day, because Dynasty is forever going 4 or 5 years down the line. I just want Chris to have to sit down and be like, "Oh man, I gotta rebuild," and then I'll be like, "Remember that time on the pod you said wouldn't do that shit?" But
I would be like, I never said that. Never.
The truth is, Chris, is I've said stuff like that too. And then in my first year playing in this league with you guys in Doo-Doo Dynasty, I go and punt in the very first year. So
I was just about to say your 1 year punt.
Yeah. So here we go.
You're sitting good now. You're sitting good now. I mean, if you just go ahead and send me Drake London and one of those picks that's not the 111, then you could probably get you what you want. But
you said you wanted You said you wanted those late first, man. Stop playing.
I know, but not for them. I was gonna say.
I got the 110. I got the 110.
Oh.
I got something I'm already thinking about sending you during the draft, Chris. I already got it.
Send it to me during the draft. I mean, me and Noah have been working on something. Noah, I'll tell y'all one thing about Noah, though. What Noah did he wanted Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra for all that, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do it.
No, man.
I can't do it. Amon-Ra got JJ value, bro. Like, I can't do it.
A deal with them two, and one. I mean, think about what that trade's got to be like if you're getting Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra in the deal, motherfucker.
I want Travis Etienne and all 3 of his first round picks.
But I offered him 26 ones too while you're at it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
but he so I offered him
the deal, though.
Justin Jefferson and Zamir White and I think Mark Andrews for one. So I mean, we've been going back and forth, but I mean, I think that I can get him to come down. Right now, he's like set on just ETN and the 104, and I'm like, man, that's still not there to me, dog. Like it ain't there. Not for Justin Jefferson.
I'll say this, crap, man. From what I know about Chris and from what I know about Noah Dick Blower, I'm gonna bet a trade gets done. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think I think the trade's going down too. Probably during the draft. Noah's the only one who made trades during our rookie draft, that last one.
I've done it every year. Every year.
You're going to do one this year too, because that 110's coming off. I'm coming off that thing.
Oh.
Well, what you want?
I'm going to see who gets there first. Don't let Lamb McConkey get to the 110.
I'll go ahead and tell you. You can't be sending me like the 110 through the 112 for like Josh Jacobs or something like that, like David's been doing. So I'm not taking that.
Well, just think about James Cook for a little while.
For the 110?
We'll think about it for a little while.
Just send it right now.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what's been going on in this noggin right here.
The wheels be
I'm trying to throw James Cook in there with Noah, and it just seems like he don't want no James Cook. I'm like, damn.
They brought in they brought in like Ray Davis or something. I think
people are high on it.
Whatever. That's whatever to me.
Yeah.
James Cook ain't gonna be the goal line guy, so I ain't worried about that anyway.
Real quick, fellas. Brock Bowers, he goes to Las Vegas.
Boneheaded this weekend, man.
Man, that was one where I was like, I slept on that one, and that one really changed my mind. I had to sleep on. When I first saw that, I was like, that people hating on the Falcons pick. Look at these motherfuckers. They done spent 2 premium picks back-to-back years on tight ends. But here's the truth, man. I went to bed. I woke up, got me 2 or 3 hours of sleep. Chris, real quick, Chris. These days, I relate to you so much. These days, Chris, I cannot sleep. I just look up at the ceiling, man. These days. With that said, Brock Bowers really shouldn't change, in my opinion. Like, if wherever you got him ranked, you probably should just keep him because it's the tight end, man. I mean, the tight end position is one of those things where it is what it is. Brock Bowers is a good player. It just doesn't change for me. That's all I'm saying. Like, you never know. At first, I was thinking, man, I don't even want Brock Bowers, but you know what? It is what it is. Like, Brock Bowers is a good player, and I know Vegas is gonna use them. I know Antonio Pierce is gonna sit there and get Brock Bowers the ball. The only thing that I would be worried about is it looks like Gardner Minshew is gonna be the one rolling out there, and he likes to hit them wide receivers over. And Devontae Adams is about to get a lot of balls this year. So that's going to limit Brock Bowers some. But then again, it's the tight end position. Like, it is what it is. Like, he could still go out there and get you some points. So, Craftman, he does not neither change nor move up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was the same as you. When I saw it happen, I was like, man, that kind of sucks. And I've been trying to buy low on Michael Mayer before the draft, and I'm so glad I didn't get Michael Mayer. He's done.
I bet you are. I'm so glad.
He is done. But, yeah, I was like you, kind of slept on it, woke up. I was like, man, they were talking about him going to the Jets. Like, I don't even know if that would have been better. Like, I think the Bengals was really like the only landing spot where everybody was just up in arms, like so happy about that could happen. And then when he went to the Raiders, it was just kind of like, you know, whatever. But you get to looking at their roster, I don't see how, you know, he should go down in your rankings where you would have him. You might as well take him where you planned on taking him because, you know, tight end position, he's one of the better tight ends that's came out in the last like 10 years. So there ain't no reason for me to think that he don't have a crazy ceiling with the Raiders. It could still happen.
Right. What you think, Swizzy? I know you think it's a boneheaded pick, but
I just thought it was a boneheaded. What I think that this was an organization that fell victim to having to pick the best available player.
Yeah.
They didn't get their quarterback, and then I don't know if maybe they fucking got their panties tied in the knot or whatever, and they were just like, I mean, fuck it, we'll take Brock Bowers right here. If I drafted Michael Mayer last year, I mean, man, I'm pissed. I would be pissed. But like you said, I did have him move down a little bit. I would probably move him back like 1 or 2 picks. I'm not as drastic, like you said, as y'all slept on it. Maybe like 1 or 2 more picks. So what was we having him at, like the 106, 107, maybe like the 108?
Yeah.
You know, if you need to at this point. I think he'll produce.
Yeah. I think we were saying 7, and then some people would say 8. Well, here's really the question: J.J. McCarthy or Brock Bowers?
It just depends on need.
Yeah, it depends on need right there.
If I don't need if I got 3 quarterbacks on my roster, I'll tell you this: if I got 3 quarterbacks on my roster, I'll take Brock Bowers.
What
if
if
I
one of
maybe
them's
need
Drake
another
May?
quarterback, then I'm taking Brock Bowers regardless.
Uh,
I'm gonna stand firm on my
You're
thing,
like,
man. I'm telling you, I could eat this, but I think that I'm right about this. I think that dude ain't shit.
yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. The Brock. I don't really have no opinion on. I'm just even kill on Brock Bowers. Like here's the only thing. I've been sitting here doing my rankings and stuff. I just kind of put JJ McCarthy ahead of Brock Bowers, but I got them in the same tier. Like you got to look at your team and you got to decide. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But right after that, though, I was trying to decide, and I think I'm with Chris. Xavier Worthy going to the Kansas City Chiefs. The man that ran a 4.3 out there. Some people want to say he's like John Ross, and I promise you guys, this dude is not
He's
John
not.
Ross. He's not John Ross. This guy can definitely run some routes, and I think he could definitely get it done with Mahomes. But here's one thing that I always heard that one of the comps for Xavier Worthy was Hollywood Brown. So I just kind of find it funny that they're about to all be on the same team. I like Xavier Worthy, and I like the landing spot. I like how fast he is. So I'm willing to just take a shot. I mean, dang, I would take Xavier Worthy over Brian Thomas, Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman. He might be my wide receiver 4 now, Kraft.
Really?
Maybe. It's tough, man. I'm sitting here trying to do these rankings. I get to a point, I'm like, holy shit. So,
I'll
Just your
tell
rookie
y'all
bracket?
this.
yeah,
I'll
just
tell
my
you
rookie
this,
bracket.
Matt. Right now, if I get those picks and I pick at the 104, and I end up having to take if David takes Neighbors, I'm taking Jaden Daniels, and then that 5th pick, you better take Worthy because if not, he's coming off the board at 6.
Oh, I ain't taking Worthy
Take
at
him.
5. That ain't happening.
Take
I would like to
him.
see him go at 6.
Y'all can have Lab. I'll take the 4.3 at the combine with Patty Mahomes throwing him the
Just
ball
give
because
me.
we saw what he did with Tyreek Hill, and this kid's faster than Tyreek Hill, so
Nobody's faster than Tyreek Hill.
I'm faster than Tyreek Hill. Chill out.
Man, I'm telling you, this rookie draft is wild as could be, man. I'm hearing so much stuff. I don't even know. It makes me wish I wish I wouldn't have. I mean, I'm glad with the team I got now, but it's like, damn, I wish I had these picks because this draft's about to be wild.
I'm finding it. I'm gonna ask y'all this. I'm finding it hard to trade for these. Like like I'm trying to get some picks and trade for them, but like, would y'all think that it's kind of hard to like figure out like the value of these players going in? Like, so like the top 3, your Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison. Those guys are going to be pretty much untouchable for something ridiculous, right? After that, like because I'm talking about giving up key pieces for these guys. And that's where my whole thing is like I'm struggling to get a deal done because I'm trying to figure out the value on them. Like, what do y'all want to tell people out there? Like, how are they valuing these picks after that 3rd pick when Jaden Daniels and Marvin Harrison come off the board? Like, what are you looking to give up in that situation that you're going to actually be able to replace?
That one's tough. That one is tough because it's really preference. Is who you like. I mean, I've already said who I liked the most after like a Doomsday talent wise, and like I wanted the Bills receiver really bad before the draft, but I did not like Keon Coleman before the draft. So what am I supposed to do about that? And like Ricky Pearsall goes in the 1st round to the
right.
which tells me that Debo and IU, one of them's gone probably. So
Well, this came out that they've been trying to get rid of Debo for a minute. Nobody wants.
And I've heard on the McAfee show, I think he had like Lombardi on, that he was saying that Ayuk trade or Debo trade will probably be done after the draft. So if it gets done, so just because they didn't do it in the draft doesn't mean that saga is over with. Like it could still go down. So
until that trade deadline or something is there, ain't nobody safe. I always say that the organization can tell you you're not going to be traded and tell you you're not going to be traded, but until that deadline has came, you're on the block.
Yeah. So it was just like players that I didn't even like that much went to the best spots. And that's what made it that hard. That's why I like McConkey because I liked him before the draft.
Right.
And it was my favorite landing spot of all the receivers that got drafted.
Heck, I mean, I was on the podcast talking about I didn't really like Brian Thomas Jr. that much, but I like his landing spot.
Yeah, that was a good spot. I forgot to mention him. with the other ones. Yeah, he went to a good spot, but I didn't like him that much either.
So really, Chris, to ask that question, and it's just like impossible to answer, to be honest.
Right.
It's just because I
See,
don't
that's
know.
where I've been. Yeah.
Hey, we're sitting here talking about this and that, and we're saying all kinds of stuff. Like, so it's like the value. I mean, I don't. Can we all agree this rookie draft is just going to be nuts this season? I mean,
Yeah,
Kraft's already told us he took Lad McConkey at the 105. So this thing is crazy. I don't even know what to think. I don't know how you gonna get them picks, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna.
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him.
Chris and you know what? The thing is, I believe Chris when he says it. I do think Chris will go get those picks. So,
Yeah, you gonna come get the 110?
I
already told you, send it.
fellas,
Send it.
I want to talk about because I don't know how long y'all want to stay on tonight, but I at least want to talk about these running back landing spots real quick. If
Yeah,
Jonathan Brooks to the Panthers got second round draft capital. And the other notable one to me is Trey Benson going to Arizona. Who else had? Oh, Blake Corum went to L.A. to the Rams. Is that all day 2 draft? Am I missing one, Kraft Man?
I think that was. Didn't we? Let me say, Packers took running back in the third.
Oh yeah, Marshawn Lloyd. I don't know, man. I kind of like all these running backs. Like now, it's like, damn, I want some mid-second round picks.
Yeah,
Jonathan Brooks could slide into that first round. Chris is a Panthers fan over here. I don't know how he feels about Jonathan Brooks. I think they got the Panthers got the best running back in the class, or second best running back in the class, however you view it. And he got the draft capital. And I know Chuba Hubbard's there, but I don't think he really scares me. And Miles Sanders, man, as high as I was on him last year, he sure don't scare me. So
no,
and Jonathan Brooks, and here's the argument: Jonathan Brooks is gonna get he's gonna get some passes. I'm all in on Jonathan Brooks. That's all I'm saying. The same shit that I said about Miles Sanders, I'm gonna say it about Jonathan Brooks, but better. I think Jonathan Brooks is just better than these guys. So
yeah,
that's all I can say about Jonathan Brooks, Kraft man.
yeah, and that's where I'm at with like that 110 range where I probably wouldn't take Brooks there, but would probably be a receiver like Xavier Worthy or whichever one drops, Brian Thomas, so on and so forth. But if it's like,
he ain't gonna be there.
if it's like
We'll have to
Jonathan
take
Brooks or James White, no, not James White, whatever, James Cook, I would probably rather have James Cook just because he's on the Bills.
Right.
So I think it's close. But I did like Brooks. Like he's a real patient runner. We didn't get into like our running back rookies that we like, but I had him at number 1. He was my favorite running back in the class. But Marshawn Lloyd was number 2 for me. So I'm glad the Packers got him because Josh Jacobs, we don't know what he's going to do. And if he was just bad last year or not. But Trey Benson to the Cardinals was the biggest one to me with what that does to James Conner, if anything, the first year.
So for that situation, James Conner, as far as this next year comes up, Kraft, I really wouldn't even be too worried about James Conner, but it does feel like Trey Benson will get some work. I would still want James Conner on my team, though, no doubt. Because I've always kind of viewed James Conner as dude, I've always viewed James Conner as like a year to year to year. So it's like it don't really change for me. But Trey Benson, I'm all in on that one. I mean, he could slide into that early second round, something like that. The offense is theoretically going to be scoring more. They're just adding some weapons for Kyler Murray. I'm all in on Trey Benson, 4-3. So
Yeah.
he would have been my running back 1 personally, but it really didn't make no difference because I like Marshawn Lloyd too. All 3 of them would have been my top 3, and him going to Green Bay, I'm seeing a lot of people on the bird. They want to fade old Marshawn Lloyd, and I'm just like, golly, let him come to me because I'll fucking snack him up. I don't even give a damn. I'll take Marshawn Lloyd with the Green Bay Packers. That's not even debatable for me. So I'm high on all 3 of those guys.
We always want to use 2 running backs too. Ever since Matt LaFleur came, we try to use 2 running backs, and that running back for a while was A.J. Dillon. and it's not A.J. Dillon anymore. So Marshawn Lloyd's going to get some playing time. There's no doubt. The only thing that he's had problems with in college, he has some fumbling issues. Sometimes you got to watch out for that. But we were talking about Trey Benson. I kind of look at that like the Derrick Henry, Tajay Spears type situation last year where, I think that's the kind of playing time Trey Benson might get this coming season. But we know James Conner, he's a great player. He does everything real well, catches the ball well, goal line work, one of the better goal line backs in the league. So Trey Benson's just going to come in, give him a breather, maybe play about 30% of snaps, something like that. So, if you want to go buy low on James Conner right now, it ain't a bad idea.
Nah, not at all. The thing is, Chris has fucking got him.
You ain't getting him feeling low. Because I'd rather just hold on to him and have to stream him one week if I need.
Right. Well, I got to ask you this, though. So we know Trey Benson, Marshawn Lloyd, even Jonathan Brooks could slip to the second, like the 201 in a rookie draft. Would you come at Chris with like the 204 just draft? Like, Chris, would you accept the 204 for Connor and just get Trey Benson there? Would you rather one of these rookie running backs or would you rather have James Conner?
In that situation, I'd probably rather just take Connor and hold on to Connor for right now. Just because I know that right now, James Conner is not like a primary piece for me. So, like I said, he's a streamer, and I'd much rather be able to just stream James Conner than to throw some rookie in there. Or maybe even sit on him. And he could be gold, like, down the line. But, second day draft capital, that's... Yeah. It's good, but it ain't great.
Chris is really coming from the perspective of competing, too. Like, if he was, like, a young rebuilding team, I'd be willing to bet Chris would take Benson over Connor. But Chris ain't going to be rebuilding. He done said it. He's going for it all. And, heck, I want Connor, too. And, heck, this might help keep Connor a little bit healthier. Might help, might work out for him. So,
I think that's kind of one thing that people get up in arms about with teams drafting a running back like in the second or third, or like the third round, which is when Benson and Lloyd and Blake Corum went. So NFL teams need running back depth. They don't think about our fantasy teams. They don't think about any of that crap. But if they ain't got nobody they need some depth, man. And James Conner always gets hurt. So that might have been the reason they did it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of like mad at the Panthers, but then I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, okay. Well, at least we took the best one in the draft. Like we took a shot on one of the best running backs in the draft. So it's looking like we're trying to be competent. But again, I think it's one of them things where they're giving it the illusion that we being competent out there. And it may or may not fall on its face, but I just don't know how you going to bring in Miles Sanders on that contract. He's got 2 years and he can get out, not play this dude, make him sit behind Chubba fucking Hubbard, and then we're going to go out here and draft Jonathan Brooks.
Now, Chris, you're saying the illusion of being competent. I know you're not saying that the Panthers are like the David Thomas of the NFL.
I'm definitely saying that they're the David Thomas of the NFL. They're worse than the David Thomas of the
NFL. Oh, man. All right. What about Blake Corum to L.A.? What does this do for Kyron Williams? Because, in the Cruise text, if you get a player and then they draft another guy, Matt Hamm is going to come on there and just say, bye-bye, like, bye-bye this and bye-bye that. So when Blake Corum went on there, I think I did it to Kraft too, but I know I did it to Michael Mitchell. He got Kyron Williams, and I said, bye-bye, Mike. Have fun in the lottery, big dog. But I think, I'm really just...
But see...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was going to say, with Blake Corum, he's coming in for Kyron. Kyron's not quite at James Conner's age where I've got to worry about like that. And Kyron had a big year last year. I think it may be a similar situation to where it may be like a Derrick Henry, Tajay Spears. They're going to give the kid some reps. But after Kyron last year, there ain't no way you don't give this dude the ball 60, 70% of snaps. There's just no way. There's no way you don't.
Yeah. I'm with Chris.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Kraft.
And Blake Corum just profiles me as just that perfect backup running back for somebody because he does everything pretty good, but he's not great at nothing. So like, that's the guy you want coming in, a guy who can, block on third downs, keep the quarterback off the ground, catch the ball out of the backfield if you got to, run around the goal line and still be competent. Like that's what Blake Corum is to me. He's like when the Packers had
like
Jamal Williams.
A Kareem
Jamal
Hunt kind of
Williams,
player. Like, yeah, Jamal Williams. Like somebody that if the big guy were to go down, you know that you're good because you got him. Like, you're good. And you know that if you're in a bad spot down toward the bottom of your roster, one of your top guys gone, you could maybe throw him in there and you're not absolutely fucked for that week.
Yeah.
He could take some goal line work, though. I'll say that. Like, if I do think he could hurt Kyron in some way, I don't think it's going to be like workload. They were giving Kyron wasn't going to do what he did last year workload wise. He's not really built for that. So,
right.
I mean, the only thing I would be worried about a little bit is just if they start bringing Corum in on the goal line or something every now and again.
Hey, I'm with y'all 100%. I think we're all in lockstep with that. I think the only thing to me that changes is the workload comes down. Kyron Williams, he's still going to be balling out.
Yeah.
It's like you said. He
got to get a breather for your young guy that looks good. Got to get him a breather.
Got to.
Yeah.
And the Rams are different too, man. They're not about to do like Kyron is not no Damian Pierce situation or no crap like that. Like this is way different. Kyron's way better, first of all. But the Rams operate.
Did you see that on social? Did somebody? Did you just make that up, or did you see somebody say that?
Man, what I see
somebody said that goddamn fool.
I'll put it like I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen it all on Twitter. If you're playing fantasy football, really, just get the fuck off that shit, man. I feel like that influences. I feel like if people would listen to us on Twitter and compare us to other people, everybody would think we're the dumbest motherfuckers in the game. I bet we just say way different stuff than them, which I'm 100%.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden they start winning fantasy championships, they can be like, oh shit. Oh shit. I might need to delete my Twitter. Oh shit.
Hey, we talk about the fake stuff, but we win real money. Hey, that's off the dome. That was a good one, Matt. Okay. Crap, man. We don't have to go pick through pick, but any people that just stick out, just landing spots, any players that you just want to say something about that was interested in the draft or not interested or
I'd say Bucky Irving going to the Buccaneers don't change my perspective on Rachaad White in the slightest. If anybody is, it's not changing nothing. He's probably going to be behind Chase Edmonds anyway. Like Chase Edmonds probably playing over this guy to start, and that's not scaring me at all. And A.D. Mitchell going in the third. That he went a little later than, or did he go? He went pick 52, so he went late second, I guess, right?
Late second.
Late second to the Colts. I really don't mind it as a landing spot. I don't feel like it's terrible.
I was saying that if I was the Bills and that pick came back to me, they took Keon Coleman. I would have took A.D. Mitchell too. I'm like, fuck it, let's go ahead and get two receivers. I would have did it, but Indianapolis came in and got it.
Look, Kraft, man, my opinion on A.D. Mitchell is that I just don't see Anthony Richardson supporting two wide receivers. I don't even know if he's going to support Michael Pittman that well because his upside is rushing and all that shit he does. So to me, I'm being a little disrespectful saying A.D. Mitchell's off my board because obviously I would draft him at a certain point, but he's definitely not up in that late first, early second.
A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Legette?
I think I'm rolling Legette.
I think I would go Legette as well. And that's
you going Mitchell, Kraft?
I think Mitchell's going to come out there, and Alec Pierce probably ain't going to see no playing time no more. But I think Down's still going to be in the slot, and A.D. Mitchell will be running a lot of deep routes. And Richardson can throw a good deep ball now. He'll probably have some big plays every now and again, being at 6'4", running a 4.3.
My thing fantasy-wise, though, is Xavier is a bit bigger, and Xavier's a big guy.
He's huge. Yeah.
So we've got Deontay Johnson, then you got Adam Thielen. Now we got a big threat too. So fantasy wise, that should yield numbers, right? Like that should yield scores if the offense is working right. If that's a big
Yeah.
if, but like
Don't
if the offense is
forget
working right.
don't forget Jonathan Mingo too. I ain't gonna sit here and act
Yeah.
like we know that he's a bad player.
Dude.
I'm not
You
gonna.
get 1 year. You get 1 year when you play for my Panthers. If you
Uh,
don't pan out, fuck you, dude. Like
I
hey,
dropped. He's dropped in our dynasty league.
I'd
I'm not
rather
gonna
put Andy
pretend like
Dawson in.
I just don't think that we can pretend that we can just sit here and act like John Mingo's a bad football player. I think it's still up for debate. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know, man. I saw him drop a lot of passes. I saw him drop a lot of passes.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
people are hating on Bryce Young, but really the truth is Bryce Young was just under
Running
duress
for his life.
all year. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I got one for you. Interesting to me, Craft Man. Your boy, Roman Wilson. Rowan Wilson, what's his name? With a W
Yeah.
or the N? And the only reason I say that is because the Pittsburgh Steelers always be hitting on these wide receivers, so they liked him enough to go get him. And, I'm just saying, obviously, as a stab, we're talking about stabs at this point.
Yeah.
Give me a Pittsburgh receiver. I'm fine with that one.
I think he'll be on the
I don't have no
field.
problem.
I think he'll be on the field week 1.
Right.
I like Roman Wilson a lot, and if he can fill out the Deontay Johnson role, because I kind of felt like that's a little bit of his game was like Deontay Johnson, so that was their replacement. And shoot, I like Roman Wilson. I like what's his name, Jermaine Burton, going to the Bengals.
Yeah.
That's not a bad spot for him. Tyler Boyd's probably going to be gone. Who knows what T. Higgins is going to be like? So there's a couple good landing spots for these guys. And Luke McCaffrey went at pick number 37 to the Commanders. I mean,
I feel like that was way unexpected. It feels like, but
yeah. Well, it wasn't pick number 37. That was my bad. That was 37th pick of the 3rd round. My bad. That was pick 100. Sorry about that.
Still, that ain't bad. That ain't terrible though.
Yeah.
That nepotism.
I'll tell you guys, we ain't talked about
in
the first round. Went to the Jags. Who's Brian Robinson Jr. I like that pick. I really do like that pick.
Brian Thomas.
You talking about
Brian Thomas? Yeah, I said Brian Robinson. See, I do that shit all the time. But Brian Thomas going to the Jaguars. We've seen that Trevor Lawrence can support 2 wide receivers. We've seen it.
Shoot.
He can do it. He had Calvin Ridley looking like he was a stud again, and then Christian Kirk was doing his thing, and Evan Ingram was going off too. So this dude can support these players. I think it's a good pick.
What kills me about the Jags is, and I could be wrong, and maybe I might be tripping, but they didn't get no O-line, did they not? I mean,
yeah,
they clearly have one of the worst O-lines of the league, and unless they addressed it in free agency and I missed it, I don't think they did it in the draft unless I missed it. So
I saw a lot of Panthers fans complaining that we didn't draft an O-line. They obviously didn't pay attention in free agency. We revamped that whole offensive line in free agency. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think it's ignorant fans that don't pay attention to anything but the draft and the season. Y'all don't watch football.
Yeah.
Hating on y'all's fan bases.
Listen, man, I've been at war. Crap, man, you can ask Chris. I've been at war with the Falcons fan base probably almost all my life. Starting back from Michael Vick, everybody acting like that motherfucker was so great. Like, stop.
I went back and looked at my Facebook from posts from years ago, and it was I remember Graham Gano missed a goddamn kick for us to win a game one year, man, and I tore into his ass. I was like, fuck this dude, cut his bitch ass. And it was like a 30, 40-yard field goal. I was so mad, dude. Like, I don't know. It's just when your team's out there letting you down like that, you get heated, and then you got people that think they know what they're talking about that just sound like idiots, man, and it makes you mad. Like, I completely understand, like, where Matt's coming from being at war with Falcons fans, because I feel like Falcons fans, I don't know, man, some of them dudes are just, I swear they've never even watched football.
It's that low IQ, man, I tell you, bro. It's like I had to defend Matt Ryan year after year after year, and then 3 years later, I'm getting a text from Jordan Harris. I put it on the receipt. When Matt Ryan retired, I kept my receipts. He said, "Man, I ain't gonna lie, I miss Matt Ryan." Like, yeah, no shit, motherfucker. Like you're blaming everything on Matt Ryan, blame this and blame that. Like, what's wrong with y'all, man? It's wild. The man could say Mariota is him, but then we'll hate on Matt Ryan for a decade. It's just drives me crazy. But as far as draft wise goes, I guess we'll say, I mean, Troy Franklin dropped pretty far.
Yeah.
Braylon Allen, the running back, a lot of people are high on Braylon Allen. He's dead. R.I.P.
Yeah.
to his ass. The Jets, they have so many fucking running backs, like low draft capital running backs over there. It's just funny. But anything else that stands out to you? I want to try to get a kill and dunk and see who else wants to hop and get their opinions on the draft maybe this week's time, and we'll see what they got to say. Anything else, Craig?
Yeah. No, I was trying to think of some other players that I really like that had some decent draft capital, but I think I mentioned all of them, and there's not really any sleepers I can think of right now. Especially not running backs, like you said, Braylon Allen. Sorry, buddy, that ain't happening.
You're done.
Ray Davis. I mean, I could see him coming in and playing because they brought in Latavius Murray to try to take work last year. I mean, Bills are desperate for somebody to come in. Yeah, they're desperate for somebody to come in and take some goal line work. So I don't think that's the worst pick in your rookie drafts. Like, I would take him over Braylon Allen now, Bucky Irving. These other running backs that went to some questionable spots. But, the Jaguars, kind of weird. They didn't take another running back, so Tank Bigsby kind of held on a little bit. Travis Etienne looks good. I don't think the Jaguars got a running back, did they?
No, I don't think so. If it did, we missed it,
And the Chargers looks like they're set with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins.
Man, surviving the draft, man. I almost traded Dobbins for
With them
the other day.
Joe Alt too.
Yeah, they're fine. And Dallas did the same thing. They were like, I hear all y'all fans wanting us to draft a running back, but we're just gonna bring Zeke back and play Rico Dowdle and whoever else we want to play. Deuce Vaughn.
I know this. I know that Dallas Cowboys fans.
Well, we picked right before them. I'm pretty sure, didn't we? We took Jonathan Brooks right before.
I do think the Cowboys wanted Brooks. But I bet, here's the thing about Cowboys fans. They're probably like, they're just so funny. Like, they're probably hating on Jerry Jones for not getting a running back or whatever, but they probably would have hated him.
I don't mind
to draft one high. So I don't mind it either. Of course, you don't mind it. You got Rico Dowdle, so of course you good.
I just don't think it's that smart to draft running backs really early. I mean, I think you can go through a season with average running backs and be just fine. I mean,
patching it up.
They spent a lot of money on Zeke for years. They had Pollard on a pretty good, on the tag and stuff where he was making $11 million or whatever, and they're probably just tired of paying running backs and not getting crazy production out of them. So just bring Zeke back, get about 4 yards a carry, and we'll do whatever.
And give CD 250 plus targets.
Exactly.
And go win me another fantasy championship. So, I mean, all right. Well, shoot, I say we just go ahead and wrap it on up. I felt like this was a good discussion. I think we'll probably still talk about draft. The thing is, Kraft, he's going out of town this week. I'll be back on the heavy week at work. So, but we might try to see who else wants to get on talk draft, because these rookie drafts, a lot of them are going to go by fast. So we're going to basically be moving on we're going to get some dynasty rankings up in this bitch. We're going to go get some super flex startup drafts and start doing some of that kind of work, some mocks. Best ball season is going to be coming around the corner. Throw a couple best ball episodes in. We got a lot that me, Craftman, and Swizzy want to do. So, heck.
No,
we're going to get in the startup ourselves, man. Throw some money on there, try to win as a team.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited about that. I'm ready to go hop in the startup. So
hell yeah, me too, man. And these rookie draft coming up, it's going to be great. And like you said, we got a lot of stuff to drop, especially when I get back from old Disney World. Y'all need to hit up some rookie mocks whenever I'm gone.
Yeah.
And come back and hit up some more, hit a startup mock, put our rankings out there. We got a lot of shit coming.
A kill, dunk, Noah Dick Blower, White Snake. If you hear this, hop on the pod with us this week, man.
Get your rankings ready.
Talk some draft. So Chris already hopping off the thing. He'll say a piece. Crabman, is there anything else you want to say before we hop on off this thing?
Shoot, I'm good, man. Just appreciate everybody for listening again.
Yep, you know what? I know we say it all the time, but sometimes we forget, and Craftman's right. Thanks for listening to the podcast, everybody. And if you don't mind, tell your best buddy or your friend that likes fantasy and say, hey, listen to the Craftman and see Swizzy and Matt Hammond.
Yes, sir.
You know, get a little different perspective. But with that said, we're out.
Peace.